All right, we're going for this, guys. I'm actually gonna hide my mouse cursor as well, but it might be shocking to hear my voice. Might not be. I don't know. But I'm back. I had some issues with the setup, new computer, new headset. Everything's been horrible. If you have seen some other stuff that's been recorded somewhat recently, you might notice that the sound quality is completely terrible and you don't want to listen to it, and that's completely fair. So, it looks like I have things figured out more or less now. I got some more new equipment arrived today. I figured I'd test it out, do some casting. There obviously is nothing really going on right now, considering it's the qualifiers for Hunter Season 4, but we still got scrims going on, and we got scrims from a team that we haven't seen in a long time. BMG, of course, did not participate in the Onslaught 2 event, thanks to not having everybody there, sort of people on vacation, didn't want to use ringers, etc. But it's the full BMG team that we saw at Dream, and they're going to be taking on some team that I have named Total Randos. It's possible that this is an actual team that will be competing in Season 4. I don't know. There are some pretty obviously memorable names here, Cheoli being the most prominent one. Still rings for reason every so often, but looks like he's going to actually be picking up another team, as he is really their sixth man, doesn't have a permanent spot on that team. Denver Pro, former jungle player and suicide player for Team Shrek is Love, way too easy. Plays mid, I believe, and he's played on a couple of competitive teams. He's also been on some Gold Division teams, and now, of course, famed Ravener player. And he's been on another few teams. I don't know if, again, this is a team or not, but hey, maybe it is, and maybe we're seeing something new, maybe it's not. But getting into the draft, we've got initial bans of Morbeast, Midas, Tremble, and Moira, so no Ravener band out, which is usually a now hero. He also likes to play the Tremble, so that makes plenty of sense, but nothing crazy about any of those bans. First three picks for Legion side will be Magmus, Doctor, and Pharaoh. We're going to counter with Swiftblade, Parasite, and Prisoner 945, so really doing a lot to try to lock down that Doctor Repulsor. That Parasite Face Hug and the Prisoner Shackle will prevent him from being able to use his ludicrous speed to get away, of course. And obviously, if BMG put a lot of their eggs into the Doctor basket, that could prove difficult for them. But they've got some good backup. Magmus, of course, a very good initiation, and Pharaoh has that as well. Really a lot of long range on this Legion side. They're going to be able to catch you from very, very far away between the Pharaoh hook, the Magmus PK plus stun, and the ultimate. Hellborn team, plenty of initiation themselves, and probably a little more carry potential, I'd say Swiftblade. Well, depends on which one you consider a stronger carry. Dr. Repulsor is obviously very difficult to lock down and kill, but with the Prisoner, might be a little bit easier. Do expect Doctor to see Nullstone and or Shrunken Head, so it could be harder than one might think, but we'll see how it plays out. Neither side, I don't think, really favored in the draft at this point. They both have pretty strong lineups. The Torture is the fourth pick for Bad Monkey Gaming. Not a huge fan of that personally, one of the lower win rate heroes, and I am a stats guy, so that's naturally going to be something that I'm against, but Fusen does like it, and he plays it a lot, and he plays it pretty well, so we'll see how it does, expecting that Torture and Dr. Repulsor solo or dual lane bottom, considering Torture is a really good babysit support hero, and Dr. Repulsor has a lot of trouble early on in the lane. Bans were Glacius, Puppet Master, and Ravener. So there's the Ravener ban, preventing the Now from picking it up. That was definitely an option, considering the Swiftblade could suicide, or hell, you could put the Ravener mid, run a dual carry. There's plenty of options here for both the Swiftblade and the Ravener, although that would lead to a 4 melee lineup, so my guess is that Now, despite how much he loves that hero, is not particularly leaning towards picking it up. Also banging out the Spore Glacius and the Puppet Master, which would have provided another carry option for them. Moraxis, Rhapsody, and Cthulhu getting taken out by Now, so both teams banning fairly different heroes in terms of role. Moraxis, obviously the initiator, Cthulhu, more of a jungle suicide, and Rhapsody the support, so definitely have options. And Legion side will finish off their draft with Drunken Master in response to the Andromeda. So Drunken actually is going to be very, very good, I think, in this particular lineup. I'm not a huge fan of Drunken. He's gotten a little bit better recently, but still not a very good hero. His ultimate, though, is going to be fantastic against Swiftblade, Parasite, Prisoner, and Andromeda. A lot of single target abilities, and having that untouchable is going to prevent them from basically doing anything. In fact, he might be able to forego a Shrunken Head entirely, just because the abilities that he's got, that they have on the Hellborn side, that will go through Shrunken Head, like the Prisoner ultimate, like the Andromeda swap, the Parasite silence even, will be mitigated And so either it won't matter because the Shrunken Head's not going to stop them, or they'll be stopped by the Untouchable. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him just go heavy into the anti other things. Holy crap! I'm just gonna get rid of Skype right now because it keeps doing this, and I can't figure out.
Let's get it
For some reason, I
on.
can't mute it. Oh well. Halborn gonna finish off with Bubbles, so a little more initiation there, as they really have a lot of it now. Bubbles and Prisoner in particular. And wow, this is taking longer than it should to load. Anyway, I do like the Bubbles. It's gonna pair pretty well with the Prisoner, obviously locking people down with the Kelp Field, and then going into a Prisoner ultimate says, if you run away, then you're in trouble, and if you don't run away, then you are in trouble. And that's obviously a nice little combination. I don't know if that's really gonna matter too much, because Dr. Repulsor has the ability to basically just ludicrous speed out, and he will take the Kelp Field stun, but he won't care about that too much. And then you get a hero like Magmus that can Steam Bath, and Pharaoh can put up Ummy Walls, which will prevent him from being in too much danger, even if he gets pulled back, because he'll have the safety of those Ummy Walls. So, solid pick, but in general, I am a little bit concerned about the Hellborn team's damage. If you look at it, as the game progresses, the match damage from Parasite and Bubbles is not going to be substantial. Parasite, if he picks the puzzle box, will actually do plenty, so that won't be the biggest deal. But Swiftblade, I never feel like he's the biggest damage output carry, usually just because he has issues locking people down, and the rest of the Hellborn side don't have too many consistent stuns. You compare that to the Legion, they're going to have Magma stun, Torturer stun, Drunken Master stun, the opposite charges from Dr. Repulsor, and of course the Pharaoh Mummy Wall. So there's some level of CC on every single one of these heroes, and in fact some that have multiples if you consider the Pharaoh hook as well. So will that hurt the Hellborn side? My suspicion is at least a little bit. They do have a fair bit of mobility in the Bubbles and of course the Andromeda swap, so getting people in and out of fights will be reasonably easy for them. I'm just a little bit worried. Notice that Fusen and Root, of course, the typical support players, Fusen has transitioned into a little bit more of a jungle, as they don't really have anybody who can occupy that role at this point. And they're trying Root out on hard support, so we'll see if he actually occupies that role here, or if it'll be the traditional Fusen hard support, because they want to try to see how Root does in the hard support role, as he probably needs some practice with warding and surviving with less gold, etc. But it looks like Legion side going to be running the tri-lane down here. Parasite going to go the aggressive jungle and run into a number of heroes. Open Magnus Sun in the Torture, and he's dead. Yeah, opposite charge comes through there as well. Bloodlust with a Balthasar, and that's exactly what you don't want to do. Not only are you giving the Bloodlust kill up, but you're giving it up to a Dr. Repulsor, who usually struggles the most early on in the game. Parasite might be forced to hang out in his own jungle at this point, considering how dangerous it might be to try to get aggressive with the Legion side running this tri-lane in the bottom. And Fusen going to pull right off the bat. Obviously that's going to be stopped by the Ward of Sight placed down by Chaoli. So no pull access there. Nice little bit of warding, something that you like to see a lot. Something that happens in TMM all the time, but I think it's definitely worth it to see in pro games. Just not having that lane control, especially for a tri-lane, is a pretty big problem. If Swiftblade gets this push back to his tower, it's going to mitigate pretty much all of the tri-lane effectiveness for this Legion side, and one of their supports is going to be essentially useless. And Fusen can pull already, in fact, so it's pretty aggressive using that, and they're going to have to counter the board because it's not going to help them out. Parasite does choose to go to the bottom lane, so despite getting bloodlusted there, still feels like this aggressive pseudo tri-lane is a good idea. Andro and Swiftblade perhaps looking for something, trying to catch out this Magnus, who will pop a mana potion. Parasite can just continue to farm. So bottom lane should be won by Dr. Repulsor relatively easily. Obviously has the dual support, and that's going to pretty much guarantee him the win. But now probably won't be in very much trouble, because there's some pretty obvious stuns that come out from this Legion side, and he can just spin away. If he does get locked down by one, it's entirely possible he could get killed, but as long as Andro effectively uses her final stun to interrupt an incoming stun instead of on a hero that's already been used, shouldn't be a problem. Swiftblade should have enough life to survive the stun, spin away, and be just fine. Remains to be seen how much farm he'll get exactly, but it's probably something that they're willing to sacrifice a little bit to get the Bubbles and the Prisoner off to a good start. And of course they have the jungle advantage as well, so they're going to farm as well on the Swiftblade. Expected to end up taking lot.
Smackdown.
Middle lane, I'm missing that entirely, but Drunken Master does very well. Bench free push.
Will not escape this time.
Drunken Master keeps to chase him down. Picks up auto attacks, and that's going to be it. Barely.
Smackdown.
Tower hit is not going to really finish him off. He does not have a health potion, though, and so he needs to have his bottle delivered, which he will right now, and he'll drink that up. Rune is top, invisibility. So he should be able to finish off his bottle charges and fill it right back up to his room. You're not used to get a game on this top or bottom lane, but this would be bottom considering top lane is Pharaoh versus Bubbles, and Pharaoh is probably having a hell of a time up here. Actually, Make at 275 GPM compared to 304 for Bubbles, so Bubbles definitely win this lane, but not boxing out the Pharaoh nearly as much as you would expect him to. Considering Pharaoh has essentially no way to kill this Bubbles until Pharaoh hits level 6, and perhaps not even then if the take cover is well timed, or if the shell surf is held until after the hook goes through, because Pharaoh basically have to walk up to Bubbles, get him with money walls, start hitting him so the Bubbles get shell surf away, and then hook onto him after that. It's a pretty difficult series of events to pull off for a player that doesn't... or that does understand exactly what's going to happen in YouTube and has played, I believe, before. There's a team name at least. I don't know if this guy, I don't actually recognize the name, but my guess is if he's playing with these guys, he's somebody. Terrible. So Make is doing really well. The Suicide really boxing this Bubbles out. This continuous rocket spam is becoming a pretty serious issue. We'll try to knock off the health potion right there, but it's not. So meanwhile, Drunken Master and Magma's looking for the Andromeda, won't find her. Instead, she will be boxed out of the lane. And in general, things looking very well for BMG right now. Parasite has been forced back out of the woods, I think. Where did he go? Oh, here, never mind. I thought it was Prisoner. No, he's not Prisoner. They're going to chase on this Torture right here. My guess is they're not going to get this kill. These will go through, actually. Yeah, they might now. The spin on split plate, and that will be a kill. Luke's going to fall to now. So, pretty necessary kill right there for the Hellborn side, as this pseudo tri lane is built to get some kills. Actually will die, as Prisoner is running up, and we saw that. Didn't think it was going to result in anything substantial, considering how low Bubbles was. A bit of a risky engagement for him, but he will, in fact, kill. He will get the bottle as well. So, room control is going to be very important for this Hellborn side, as they have 2 bottles up, compared to Legion with just the 1. Boxing the middle lane, of course, playing the mid role now, former Suicide player. But now that Boxing is going to be taken in. He's got the second highest farm on his team, but only the 4th in the game. Just look at the GPM charts right here. 361 for Balthazar. He's going to die, actually, so this is what happens when you cast for a long time. Your camera work is really bad. It's already not good, but it's on the combination. Killed with no support there whatsoever. Really, really easy. I'm not really sure why Balthazar's pushed that far up with no vision and no support. Dicey situation, and he pays for it with his life, so what was once a BMG lead is now turning into a lead for the Hellborn team. As they're up by about just 4,000 gold, so they're absolutes for the Honcast stuff, so always forget to change it back.
I have you.
Anyway, Dr. Pulsar should be level 6 in just a moment. That's going to make him a lot less vulnerable, a lot of supports and leads decide to roam quite a bit more. And hopefully they'll use that to take advantage of possibilities in the middle lane. Just get a kill, they have 3 stuns, 2 supports, and a Drunken Master, so Prisoner is relatively easy to take down despite how tanky he is. The greatest armor and will fall to the combination. So, Doctor going to get some more free farm in this bottom lane, as now is forced out, but he's still sitting just at 300 GPM, and the middle lane Prisoner doing quite well. Top lane Bubbles doing well also. Fusing going to get the pull off. And now with the haste rune, going to look to do something, but he needs to be a little bit careful, because if he gets stunned out, he could be in a little bit of trouble. Not that much there. Or in fact, just run away. Haste rune should be wearing off at any time now. Top lane site has come over here, so has finally rotated out of Legion jungle. Will hang out top with Bubbles, not around. And Make going to take this chance to get some more farm. Denver Pro really not doing very well at all at 77 GM, so had some difficulty in the early going, of course. The bottom lane is a serious initiation right here. We're going to try to get the access to it. That's what's going to happen. Will finish it off. Arrow is going to trap in the sword blade. Absolutely expelled from the inside. No, Arrow's not going to finish it off. And Arrow is by the combination of Bubbles. Torture also looking to get finished off right here, but Dr. Pulsar's full life. All of the both of his heroes if they can stop the teleport from Prisoner. They can't do so. He'll get out of there. The opposite direction will get through on Bubble.
Double
U2
tap.
will take the fall. So ends up being a relatively even trade there, as I believe both teams lost 2 heroes and 2 cores, in fact. So gold lead relatively even at this point, and a bit of a dive here from the Hellborn side. Probably one they didn't really want to take. If you look at it, especially at the end there, they could have gotten out if Bubbles had used his Shell Surf defensively instead of trying to go after the Torture, and he would have gotten out, and that definitely would have been a better engagement for the Hellborn side, considering this is a hard support Torture, or at least a second support Torture, and Bubbles was given the short lane, so his farm should be a lot better than Torture's, and he's currently sitting at 280 GPM, so obviously it is better, but it's not that much better. Good dewarding here going out from Brute for a ward that was just placed by the Hellborn team. And Dr. Pulsar continuing to get his farm. We'll finish up a Blood Chalice and Steam Boots. My guess is he'll be undoing Nullstone. Yep, and there's the Life Tube, so he's thinking Nullstone with all of the ways to slow him down. Wants to prevent getting jumped and killed before he can even get a chance to escape, and that Nullstone should basically always afford him the opportunity to run away from an engagement. I would say that he shouldn't need a shrunken head in this game. Doesn't even get one, of course. I suspect he will if this game goes long enough, but personally I feel like once you get the Nullstone, you don't want to follow that up with immediately. Middle lane, Weapon Master gonna Prisoner ultimate, and now the Hellborn side might be in a little bit of trouble. Opposite charges and the stun are stacked a little bit. Prisoner still in a lot of trouble. He will be falling right here. Looking onto Parasite as well. Get the Hellfire up there.
Serial killer.
By the Trunks, there's going to be 2 down in favor of the BMG side. So, another good engagement there from the Monkeys, and they're starting to get on a bit of a roll here as Balthazar's 400 GPM Boxy is approaching that mark, and the only hero on the Hellborn team that's even close is the Prisoner 945, who's not a hero that's going to do a ton of carrying. Swipplay really needs to get he needs to be given some sort of priority, and he is in the top lane here, so that's good. But I'd like to see the Hellborn team stacking the woods for him a little bit, letting him spin on things so that he can get some more farm, because he needs to be sitting at least a 350, 400 plus GPM mark, keeping up with that Dr. Pulsar, so for the late game. The Legion side definitely has the late game here with Drunken and the Dr. Repulsor. As Swiftblade and arguably Prisoner are the only ones on the Hellborn team that really have any late game ability whatsoever. Drunken getting caught up with a wheat field here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want that?
Wait for it to wear off. Question is, will he be able to get out of this? It looks like he will. Rocket's going to hit that nice dodge on the hook, and we'll see if they can perhaps turn this onto Swiftblade. Pushes the Swiftblade away. Shackle goes down, but it's not going to be enough. And here comes Magnus. They're going to finish on it now, and they will get this kill. There's the hook and the Magnus stun. That's now dead. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, Root actually falls in the process of getting that from tower. It was Mewtwo on the Bubbles who finished him off, so 1-for-1 exchange on different sides of the map, but definitely in favor of the BMG side once again as they take out the opposing team's carry. They get a tower and they only lose a support, so the trade will take 100% of the time. They will continue to increase the first tower of the game, actually second tower of the game I believe goes to them. Dr. Pulsar continuing to farm down here and getting closer and closer to that Nullstone. Should be just a few minutes away at this point. After that, my suspicion would be either Hellflower or Grimoire of Power. Could be Shrunken, as I said before, but I really would prefer not to see that item. Ghost Marchers are up on Swiftblade. Obviously a question always between Ghost Marchers and Steam Boots. I think Ghost Marchers in this particular game is probably the first shot. Here for Drunken Master, but he just lunges away and he'll be just fine. So nice reaction from Box before the Shackle could go down. And he's a little bit out of mana right here, so if he gets hooked back in, he could be in some trouble, but of course the Prisoner's out of mana as well. He's not really in any danger. Other thing the Hellborn team might need to look for is some levels on this Andromeda. She's only level 4. Level 6 for Andro, obviously a huge deal as you get that swap and get people in and out of trouble. And imagine that fight in the top lane. If Andro had been level 6, then Swiftblade would have survived and Andro would have died. That would have been a much more palatable exchange for the Hellborn team. Support for support in the end. Nice hook there from Yes, it will. Here's Magnus with the follow-up. Andromeda's coming in, destroying on the stun, though, and actually looks like Drunken might get out of here. Didn't even need to pop the untouchable. Hope does not connect, just out of range. Very, very well thrown there, but Fox is a little bit too fast with the Energizer.
Denied.
A little bit of an interesting build as well, something that I hadn't mentioned before, but the Energizer on Drunken Master, not something that we commonly see. Seems to be working out here pretty well, though, and actually it makes a fair degree of sense considering Drunken Master tends to like Steam Boots, the additional tankiness, the attack speed, very, very helpful for a strength-based hero like him. But wants to get in and out of fights, and Lunge not always the only way to do that, so popping the Energizer on top of that, a nice combination of items. That is effectively very helpful for this team as well, of course. That's my general opinion. You always want one of those in your team. They are out right here. Hellfire is there as well. Way too easy to fall. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, Balthazar actually gets finished off by the Andromeda and Bubbles, so not sure what Balthazar was doing pushed up that far, how he got locked down by those two heroes. Level Silence is level 4, so that would have been enough, as the damage output is definitely substantial. Kelp for this use as well, so Dr. Pulsar getting a little too aggressive. He's cost killed, but obviously he's still doing pretty well on the farm. Better than anybody in the Hellborn team, and just now being passed by a Boxy's Drunken Master. So 2 cores on the Legion side, doing very, very well, and even the Suicide Pharaoh is looking pretty solid, just under 300 gold per minute. Fusing on the Magnus, also sitting at 200 GPM, and he should have his portal queue relatively quickly. So he's got 148 gold, so is that currently on the way? No. Imagine at just under 14 minutes in with 200 GPM, that's Fusion would be really close to his PK considering he only has Striders and the Mad Battery. But maybe it's been him buying all the wards, I don't know. No, that's a root ward. And that's a root ward, so maybe he's got it in his inventory. There it is, okay. So now he's got it. So PK up on Magnus, and he is currently level 7, so a little bit away from that level 2 ultimate, but can definitely take a team fight right now. I wouldn't be surprised if the Legion looked to force something. They have a level 11 on both the Drunken and the Doctor. Put away on Pharaoh as well, and now Bookie on Magnus. They probably want to take an engagement, finish off these triple stacks. They will take the middle tower, would be my guess. Drunken and Pharaoh look like they're the ones going after them. This should be as well. Rocket and over 400 gold per minute. I should let Pharaoh get to level 11 close to it. Yep, 430 GPM now on Drunken, and next levels here for Pharaoh, so things shaping up well for BMG. 15 minutes in, slight lead for them at just about 2,000 gold, so we'll see what their items are next. Prisoner going for the early portal key. It's a fine choice, and will pair well with Bubbles, who has his own PK, Abyssal Skull on top of the Ghost Marchers. For Swiftblade, wouldn't be surprised if we see something like the Frostburn left, as he probably needs some health. Legion side has pretty considerable damage output right now, both magical and physical, primarily on the magical side with the Magnus and the Dr. Pulsar. But Drunken Master can do a fair bit of physical damage as well, so it's not like Swiftblade can just rely on a spin to get him in and out of fights and prevent him from taking off health. They're just going to catch out the Dr. Pulsar right here. That should be a kill, but now he's going to take the Kelpfield stun, and he's going to get away with the ludicrous speed, and now all of a sudden they're getting flanked. Andromeda will take the Magma stun, the kill right here. No, actually it comes through, swap him out. Prisoner with 2, getting on the ultimate. Only the Drunken Master though. Swiftblade going to look for something. Finally get down. Finally Taylor gets taken out as well. 2 dead on the Legion side. Hook him on Torture. Very well played from way too easy. Leech will finish her off. Root of Z, and now Fuse and trying to run away, as that was not a good engagement for BMG, so you would have thought everything was going their way with the brand new portal key on Magnus and a level 11 on 2 heroes compared to none on the Hellborn side. Obviously Prisoner just dinging 11. But instead they get caught out a little bit, and they try to turn the fight around. It did not work.
Have destroyed a Legion tower.
Too many players at the same time to prevent themselves from getting run over. So, well played. Definitely making a game of this. If this is not a team that should be that is going to be competing in Hunter Season 4, it definitely should be, because if you can take a game against BMG and not look like you're getting completely outplayed, then you should definitely have some capacity to stick and diamond for a while. If you can get a chance to go to Thailand in the spring, and obviously we're very, very far away from that, but never too early to start making plans, man, when it comes to that sort of thing. So, curious to see what's going to happen out of this team that I have dubbed the Total Randos.
You're mine.
Anyway, Nullstone going to be finished up on Dr. Repulsor, so that'll be a huge help for him. Obviously won't be very helpful against Bubbles, but the rest of the Hellborn side, very, very magic damage heavy. And their target, single target lockdown is their really only type of lockdown beside the Bubbles kelp field. So Dr. Repulsor probably feeling pretty frisky with his brand new item. Drunken Master looks like he's going for the Insanitarius. Not a bad choice at all. I'd like to see the Soul's Bulwark after that, as it's going to give him some tankiness with the Insanitarius. And these souls will give him some good offensive power as well. Reduce the armor of the Hellborn team, which is generally pretty squishy across the board, and Prison is the tankiest hero at 1328 health, which is pretty good. But I feel like his armor totals are low. His magic armor is 1.5 damage, investments, 4.9. Physical armor, that's not terrible. Meanwhile, doesn't get caught out by 4 heroes. Nice poke back onto Swordblade, but definitely still going to be his death sentence. Make a clever play to get out of there, but now it's just like, alright, now I'll spit on you, you idiot. And Denver Pro will finish off for kill. So, 12-9 hero kills for the Hellborn side, and they're taking a gold as well as up 2,000 in item category. Now up to 367 GPM, but in general the farm is pretty solid across the board for the Hellborn side. Nobody below 300 gold per minute. You compare that to the 2 cores on Legion side who are doing all of the heavy lifting in the GPM department. This is one of those situations where we get to test the theory of, is it better to have a uber farm 1-2 core team or a moderately farmed 4 core team? Both teams going for opposite theories in that manner. And Bubbles looking to get away from a couple heroes on the Legion side. Use the Shell Surf to get to an interesting spot. We'll eventually get out of there. Nice play from Q2. Blood Child's finished up on Magnus, so any of his mana problems will now be going away. He's still sitting at just under 200 gold per minute. Curious to see what the Pharaoh goes for his first item. Wouldn't mind a Tablet of Command. Got the Prisoner Ultimate, the Pharaoh, or Andromeda Swap, the Swordblade. Kelpfield's not going to be super great against that, or for that, but hey, most of the Hellborn team's items will be solidly countered by a Tablet of Command. If you can use it really well, you can even force people into or next to your solid option in general, and for the amount of lockdown that Hellborn potentially has, it would not be bad at all. Storm Spirit, also an option for that. Actually, he's going to go for the Alchemist Bone, so the anti-parasite item. Try to prevent the parasite from getting really annoying. That could still be difficult, even with the Alchemist Bones, but definitely that's the point of that item. And Sanitarius is finished up on Drunken Master. By the way, actually, the Sword Parasite has 4 heroes here. Kongor is 5 at the hit, so I don't think the Legion side have too much knowledge of this. Drunken Master's hanging around at his order site for the Hellborn side that will spot him out. And he's probably untouchable right there because otherwise he'd die. He's still the token of Prisoner, and that will miss as the Energizer is used very well. So Kongor attempt is scouted a little bit by the Hellborn team. I think it's actually stuck in the pit. Drunken Master might not have noticed them. It was only coming out that they realized that was going on. Pharaoh Rocket will also scout. Meanwhile, initiation from Pharaoh onto 3 heroes. The spin kill. Prisoner's actually going to hit heroes. Pocket the ball. Die as well. Drunken Master also Magnus can barely get the eruption off. It sort of goes in the wrong direction. Meanwhile, off to the side, Bubbles and Andromeda not going to get caught out or get any kills, and that looks like that'll be the end of the fight. So, if you can work there, sorry about that, guys. But in the end, Hellborn team definitely come out on top. They kill 3 heroes, lose only the Prisoner, and a really good engagement there. I'm not sure what Make was thinking. He's got the jump, which is nice, but they didn't allow Magnus to really charge up the eruption first. And if they had done that, I think, and then gone in with the hook, once Magnus was ready to jump, he would have done a lot more damage early on. Being able to finish up the super before he would spin off instead. Because just sit there and spin. Don't touch my tower! Or mostly Pharaoh, but still obviously prevents all the magic damage. Again, not a great fight. They didn't lose Balthazar, which was good, as he remains the top farmer in the game, but now
Kongor has been slain.
Will get Swordblade that much closer to the 430 gold per minute of the Dr. Repulsor. At this point, the Frostburn is finished, so nice item there. Token Life also picked up. Not sure if he'll be finishing the Dawnbringer quite yet, because it's not going to be working out too well for him. Probably need it. And top lane, Mutsu on bubbles is going to fall. So the response from the Legion side is substantial. It definitely is. Dr. Pulse is going to try to port out. He should be able to get away as they can't find him. Nice ludicrous speed away will allow him to survive. Oh, sorry. Over here, yeah. Big fabrication. That has text message. Box gets a kill on.
Just getting started.
Pay for that, so it's 1-1 right now. He's trying to run away. Gets swapped back in. I think Andromeda using the torture also going to fall.
What's my name?
Helps finish him off.
Bow before you.
As Make falls as well. Dr. Pulse will try to finish off the Switchblade. And Mana Batter gets popped. There goes the Token Blade. We'll see if Switchblade comes back up. Tries to do anything. Has no Swift Slashes available. And Dr. Pulse will just get the hell on out of there as he is well able to do. So 4-for-1 exchange. He's going to die one more time. But definitely a good fight here from the other side. And they're looking really, really strong. Breastplate is finished up on Parasite, and I love that pickup as Legion side will have a fair bit of armor, especially coming out from that Drunken Master and the Pharaoh, both going to be very difficult to kill without D-armor. And Parasite just a fantastic carrier for the Souls Bulwark and the Demonic Breastplate. So not an item that I think we see picked up enough on that hero. Additional attack speed is fantastic with the bonuses that he already gets from having the Leech and of course the D-armor, and just generally having that item is great for your team. So very, very team-heavy Parasite. I, in fact, quite like this build. It's been said that every team should have an Astrolabe, and every team should have an Energizer. I would add every team should have a Demonic Breastplate and a Abyssal Skull. Those items are just way too good for the amount of gold that they cost to not buy, especially when a lot of this game revolves around grouping up, pushing different team fights, that sort of thing. Having those auras does a ton for the team. And actually, there's a jump right here. I realized how the double hero is there. Right outside. Rocket Master can jump on top. Onto the other, try to finish her off. Hook will finish off.
Gotcha!
So both the Magnus and the Drunken Master get caught out. That's going to be a power push in the middle. Into a pretty dangerous position here on the BMG side. There's falling off.
The Hellborn have destroyed a Legion
Take
tower.
one tower down here and might be a second. 30 seconds left on Resurrection. Before boxing. No buyback available as well. Killing this tower is really, really good. Let's decide to do something about this if they want to. Actually, we'll have to get the fortification back in here. Power drop.
The Hellborn have destroyed a Legion tower.
Back in. He only has the level 1 eruption, and he'll put a 2-man stun right there. Let's see if they can onto anything. Bubble's going to get caught out, run away, Leech gets popped, both not going to sense on anything, so it looks like Hellborn side will back off, and the Legion side will save their racks, but not for lack of trying from the Hellborn team. And they're in a pretty fantastic position right now, 9.4k gold, 8.5k experience ahead, 500 gold per minute on the switch. Balthazar's Dr. Pulsar is just not doing very much in these fights, and that's a result partially of the fact that he really only has a Nullstone at this point. Has picked up the Light Brand, and so we'll be going for the Grimoire Power, so I like the item build right here, but he's just not at the point where he's dangerous. He's zipping in out of these fights pretty easily. It's going to be impossible to kill him, but he's just not doing a ton of damage, so we'll see if he can remedy that anytime soon. Should have the ability to finish off the Grimoire and just a couple hundred gold for the recipe.
I have you. Yeah. I have you.
It's being finished off here by the Hellborn team. Bubbles and taking him down. There's obviously 5 deaths here, 3 more than anybody else on his team, but he's sort of been willing to make that sacrifice as he's jumping into the portal key. It's pretty difficult for him to get out of the fight once he's in, so he's the guy that they're taking down, and that's pretty much by design. He's reasonably tanky, and once he's popped his ultimate, his shackle, and his hook, he doesn't offer too much in the team fights. The right-click base damage is pretty high once those spells are all on cooldown, but he just doesn't have the attack speed or the mobility in team fights to be able to get too many right-clicks off. So the fact that he's using his tankiness to good effect, keeping those members of his team alive, and being the focus of the fire from the BMG side is definitely what he's looking for. Just generally good play from this Hellborn team. Parasite and Magma's going to find each other right here. Pass goes through and the portal key away. Magma's going to get the TP on out. We'll see if they can find the hook. And no, they cannot. Veiled Rot from Prisoner. And they're going to try to look for Pharaoh, as they know that he's for a rocket, but won't be able to find him. Legion trying to get boxed out of their own jungle, though. That's exactly what you want to see. Middle lane as Balthasar finishes off the bubbles. So, nice pick for Doctor. And, by the way, Basher was finished up on Swiftblade. It's not a huge surprise he's finish up Doctor. Instead, it chooses to go for additional lockdown, and in fact, some that does not require a single target, which will be nice against that Doctor Repulsor. Tablet Man finished up on Bubbles, so that's obviously an anti-Pharaoh item. All are very manageable for the team to deal with, especially once the Andro swap has been used. It probably needs to be saved for like the Swiftblade potentially getting caught out. So nice little pickup. Seems Andromeda is also working on that. Shackle going to be used by Nelson right there. Dr. Nelson is in some trouble. Actually, that was some miscommunication right there as the ultimate gets popped from Prisoner and the swap immediately from Andromeda. So Balthazar says, thank you, very nice. On my merry way now that you have a 90-second cooldown. 95-second cooldown, 100-second cooldown, whatever. Used up. Looks like Parasite working on the Frostfield plate. That's the only reason to ever buy plate mail in this game. Another underrated item, so I'm really a huge fan of Denver Pro's item build actually right now. I think he's buying a lot of items I just don't see enough, especially on that hero. With the Soulsboro Bulwark being picked up sometimes, but not always. I think at 3 wards out of a single top of that round. There's still one here deep inside woods. And we'll catch that one as well. So they at least know it's here, but they'll need another bound eye in order to actually finish it off. And that'll be most of the Hellborn division. Once that thing's dead, there'll be this aggressive ward here, and this Rev ward behind the tower. But that looks like it's just about it. You can say there's similar things about the Legion side, though. They have a defensive ward here in their woods, an aggressive one scouting out Kongor, and one in the bottom lane, as well as one in the middle lane. So all 4 wards being put up, but absolutely no vision of the top lane, anything above the middle of the map either. And they're basically just playing heavily defensively right now. Pharaoh's going to try to keep Parasite out. We'll get hooked in by Prisoner. Hooks back onto the Parasite. Full trap him in fact. Here comes Always Elf. Full trap in on the wall right now. With Delta on him as well. And Box is going to try to be able to super. That's not happening. Just dropped out. Torture back to the first one to fall. 2-man stun from Magnus. Take cover off. And the ultimate from Prisoner pulls him back in. Nice shell circle away from Bubbles. Will be able to survive as Alien Andromeda gets finished off. Hardware finish off the Dr. Repulsor. So in the end, it's a 3 for 2. Once again, favoring the Hellborn side as they lose their support. And Jungler in exchange for the Hellborn and their Legion team support their carry and their suicide. So the numbers, the heroes that died are even better for the Hellborn side. Continuing to increase their lead, continuing to shut down and deal with that Dr. Repulsor. Boxy has really fallen off right now, 331 gold per minute for him. Not looking too hot, as there are 2 heroes on the Hellborn team that are doing better than him, and 2 more that are right there in the same neighborhood in the Prisoner. So Boxy's good start has definitely not transitioned to the middle game. Neither has Pharaoh's, as he's dropped about 20-30 GPM away from where he was in the early laning phase even. It's not something you like to see. And Balthazar has continued to pick up more power, but still not taken off, especially in the way that now has, especially considering the initial state of the game. So definitely well in advantage of the Hellborn side right now. I'd like to see them perhaps force some more stuff. I think they're just waiting for the next Kongor. As you can see, they're taking the Ancients right now, and should be spawning in any moment. Once again, another token of life on Swiftblade. My suspicion is they'll be looking to push into the base, perhaps get some racks, and maybe even end the game. Geometer's Bane, by the way, is finished up on Swiftblade, so he splits up the Frostburn. We'll be going for perhaps the Frostwolf Skull. I wouldn't mind seeing it. It's going to add some really nice tankiness and combo well with that Basher. It's either you get slowed, and then that's going to help him find some bashes, or to get bashed, and that's going to help him find more slows. So Concord does in fact respawn right there. Veldrot from Dr. Repulsor will help scout it out middle lane. They're sitting on top of the ward right here. There's some good backup for now on the Swiftblade, so Doctor should not run into that. That would not go very well for him. And he will get up the cliff.
Not escape.
On top of the cliff. Up back there. This rush didn't really do too much. Finally fall. Looking to finish off the Magnus. Going to be a second kill in favor of the Hubble team. He's going to fall though, it looks like. He's got a close finish off the speed. And now finally, falls as well, but it's still 4 for 1 in favor of the Hellborn team. Dr. Pulsar's ludicrous speed away is successful. Push book forward from Bubbles as Paris is going back into this. He bought back into the game. They're desperately trying to finish off this. The Dr. Repulsor can finish off the TP. No, they don't. A bit of a waste of buyback right there from Dead Regard. The fact that it could allow them to get Congo. Could get this Congo kill in the next minute or so. That's probably an acceptable buyback. If they can't, it's not the most useful because they already had the kills they were going to get. He was dead, and they're pretty definitely getting this Congo kill. Not really looking like they need Parasite to do it, so still probably the greatest idea in hindsight to be buying out right there, but still didn't hurt them too much. And yet another fight, black fight here.
Condor has been
Making
slain.
serious inroads into a victory at this point. Objective-wise, obviously they're not that far ahead. They have taken down the middle 2 of this tower, but not much worse than that. Now let's just go on to Dr. Repulsor in the middle lane. He doesn't really care that much. He'll just walk it off a little bit. Back go right back into the bubbles. Do a ton of damage. Doesn't quite get up the hill, but really doesn't make a difference. And he will go pick up a refreshment rune in the top lane as it's really close to impossible for the Hellborn to kill them unless they can these 3 heroes just because they need to cancel the stone and then have a second ability that prevents him from being able to use ludicrous speed. As obviously if you don't do that, he will just run away. Sackstone, by the way, on Pharaoh, so I like that item as well. All these team fight items and team support items really looking good. Andromeda could be in a little trouble. Nope, going to be backed up by the Parasite.
The Legion have destroyed a
Tier 1
Hellborn
tower. Finally
tower.
falls 34 minutes in. Took that long for that here, tower to go down. He actually pushes it out. Nice little boost of gold for the guys on BMG. Switchblade is in middle lane. He's not alone. We decide know that because they have a Ward of Sight in place. That doesn't really mean they can do anything about it. And let's see if they look to get something. They're sort of flanking right here. And the Hellborn side is looking to push into place. They got the token of life, of course. And a pretty good amount of gold saved up on Swiftblade, so I really wouldn't mind it. Possible stall before they take this engagement. This doesn't happen as they jump in the background. They're initiating on 2 heroes right there. Almost might be in trouble. And Dr. Repulsor going down. Andromeda will be able to get away from Boxy. Simply the chase down and the torture. That should be 1 kill. Meanwhile,
We all bet this shit look good. You and I are gonna be real good friends.
Investigate with the teleport and kill him. Yes, they can. Barely enough damage. That teleport had to be very, very close to going off.
A Legion barracks has been
Finish off the
destroyed.
mid racks. Token life was not even used. And this could turn into a bot racks as well. Another buyback used on the Hellborn side. This time it's Bubbles. So a couple buybacks used by them in the last 5 minutes or so. They're both in the service of some greater aims. Not bad buybacks.
Come back here.
Tower.
A Legion barracks has been destroyed.
As well, obviously top tower is there as well, so they can't just go directly to either at the top or the bottom lane. Prisoner getting caught out by the strong defense.
Double tap.
Will in fact do so. Hook comes
Nemesis.
through on the bubbles. That beats the shield surf. That's gonna be another kill. Tries to take cover. Should not matter. Yeah, Root Cookie Torment finishes him off as well. So 3 kills for the Legion side. We try to their base. Usually successful backing off. Still not used, and that means that when the Hellborn team come back up, we'll likely be seeing another push. And the fact that they've got racks in the bottom lane should make that a relatively easy push. All of their ultimates will be back off of cooldown when they make it. Really looking good here. So nice combination of players on the Hellborn side, and so far that has yielded some quite strong results. Invisibility Rune picked up by Swiftblade. Dr. Pulsar was going for it, but won't be able to find it. Still has the bottle, of course. Hellflower is his next item of choice, so not only did he go for one of the items I suggested, he's back going for both. So, yay for Baltzar. Listen to me, that's great. and then he's losing the game. So maybe you shouldn't listen to me. Maybe I don't actually know what I'm talking about. I don't know. Speaking of teamfight items, Soulful work has been doing on Pharaoh. Another nice item pick up here. In general, I like BMG's decisions for the most part. Tablet of Command is finished off onto Magnus. I like that. Another one we finished onto Torture. I like that. And it looks like Drunken Master is going for the Frostburn, because I seriously doubt it's going to be Geometer's Bane. That hero does not really fit that item very well. I guess it could be, but seems unlikely. Either way, we'll see how that suits him. I'm not a huge fan of it personally. I might even say that something like the Shield Breaker would be better. Seems like a bit of an iffy item.
The Hellborn have destroyed a Legion tower.
The Shield Breaker could legitimately allow him to two-shot a couple of heroes on the side. Definitely Andromeda. Bubbles and Parasite might take 3 hits. They'll probably go down somewhere in area 5. And of course, the single thing gets into the lockdown.
The Hellborn have destroyed a Legion tower.
Anyway, just in the middle lane, top lane, go to pop the Geometer's Bane, go out the token on this. You actually don't care about these heroes. So nice, they're actually hard to kill with Crossbow Skull, and he's going to be able to do some damage as well. Eruption coming through doing no damage at this game. Really well. Respawning, nice hook there as well. Drop out on the Swordblade to survive, as Magnus will be able to get away. Boxy with the Untouchable Pop as the Energizer as well. Spinning right onto Pharaoh. There's the opposite charges there as well. There's some stuff on the Swordblade. He gets some touches off. Doing pretty good damage right there. Finally, Pharaoh's going to drop. Looks like Magnus will get
That's gonna be real good, Frank.
but that should not be lasting too much longer.
A Legion tower
Nice
has
disjoint
been
there.
destroyed.
Survives, but the rest of the team is dead, and the game is over. So, game 1 in this 3-gamer going the way of Team Randos, as I like to call them, and BMG not looking the hottest. Good lineup for them. A bunch of heroes that they would normally be adept and comfortable at playing, but in this particular instance, for some reason, not quite able to pull it through. They had a solid start, they had a solid mid-game, and it just felt like they couldn't shut down the Swiftblade, they couldn't control Kongor, and they basically stopped farming almost at all after about 20 minutes in. And you look at the GPMs at the end of the game, 467 for Baltazar, so he did fine. And with the Grimoire of Power, you would have expected a little bit more, but everybody else on the team under 300 gold per minute, and the repeated deaths obviously not helping in that regard, but they just couldn't control their woods. They couldn't find anywhere to go, so very nice map control as well from the Hellborn side. That'll do it for Game 1, and I'll be doing Game 2 shortly. It won't matter too much for anybody, because this is all on VOD only, but I felt like saying it. Oh well. See you guys in Game 2.